Good afternoon, YouTubers. Today I'm going to show you something I acquired this week here that doesn't often show up, and they were probably given out with sound tape cartridge recorders back in the 50s. I'm not sure. I've never seen one surface with a recorder. I'm going to guess that most of these were thrown out or taped over. So what makes this one so unusual is the fact that this one is original and nobody did tape over it. So it's a demonstration of their flight line recorders. And this was made in the late 50s, obviously, and made by RCA. On the back side, we can see that this is a demonstration cartridge for home recorders. It's a new concept in tape recorders and players using the convenient tape cartridges. Now, the tape cartridges, for those of you who may not have seen some of my videos, are unique in that they are cartridges. They're oversized cartridges like this. And they're a good 3 to 4 times as large as the compact cassette. This was the predecessor to the compact cassette. This used standard 1/4-inch tape, like the reel-to-reel tapes, and the pre-recorded tapes were available in 3 3/4 inches per second speed. And some recorders had the ability to tape in 1 7/8, but the pre-recorded stuff was done in, like I said, 3 3/4. Now, that's what this says here. It plays at a speed of 3 3/4, compact, lightweight, low price, easy to operate, high performance, and of course the most trusted name in sound. And if you look at the recorders, these are the recorders probably that they came with. These are the portable recorders with a handle on them. I've got a couple of these. I have one in stereo, and I put a video up on that as well. And we're going to do a demonstration of that tape, and we're going to do this not on an RCA player, but a Bell player. This is a model 403. It is a home deck only. So with this, it's got a built-in preamplifier for stereo. You can actually feed the phono through, an auxiliary, a microphone. You can record on it, of course, and just playback tape. And you would feed this through your hi-fi system. Now, Bell made some terrific stuff. They really did. Unfortunately, they lacked some features such as rewind. To rewind with these machines, you actually had to turn the tape on the other side and go fast forward with it to rewind it. Kind of an asinine way to do things, but you know, it is what it is. And all of their players were like that, with the exception of the portable players, the 601 and 603 portable players. I have a 603 up on the YouTube site that you can see, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's give you the demonstration of this particular tape, because it's unlikely that you're going to hear another one again.
Well, Mrs. Johnson, I've shown you several different models, and none of them seems to suit you. I just don't think you're going to find what you're looking for.
I don't see why you can't show me a good compact tape recorder that I can play through the console hi-fi you sold me last year. I want to record my son's voice, and I want to keep it in the living room. Is that asking too much?
We have this model here, ma'am. It has all the...
That? Why, it's much too big, and look at all those dials and whatchamacallit.
Well, there's this little one. It's compact, good-looking, and it'll play through your hi-fi or stereo.
That's better, and it's about time. How does it work?
Well, you just take this tape reel and you place it here and...
Never mind. I don't want tape reels. Maybe we'd better just forget about it if you don't... Wait a minute, what's this?
That? Well, let me look. Why, it's a tape recorder from RCA Victor. It must be brand new because I haven't seen it before.
Well, young man, it certainly has the styling I'm looking for, but I suppose it's as heavy as all the rest of... Oh, why, it scarcely weighs a thing.
Yes, ma'am, and it has input and output jacks for just about any use you can dream up for it.
That means I can play it through my console hi-fi, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am, and it says here that it actually weighs less than 14 pounds.
Is it RCA, the one that makes the tape cartridge? The one that I can load without threading?
Yes, ma'am. Tape cartridges give you all the advantages of high-fidelity tape with none of the drawbacks. They're convenient, easy to handle, and practically foolproof in their operation. But let me call Mr. Dalton over. He should know a lot more about this tape recorder. Mr. Dalton?
Yes?
Would you come over here?
Hello there. Is there something I can do for you?
Yes. I'd like to know something about this tape recorder and player from RCA Victor.
Gladly. I just brought it in this morning. You see, I've been using it at home this past week. It's no trouble at all to carry around because it weighs...
13.5 pounds. Yes, I know.
But you'd be surprised at the convenience the folks at RCA Victor have packed into these 13 pounds. This little machine plays tape cartridges you can load in just about 2 seconds. You can even play a 3-inch tape reel with an inexpensive adapter and with almost no wow.
No what?
Wow.
Young man, if you're getting smart,
No, ma'am. But wow is the bugaboo of tape recorders and players. RCA Victor uses a 4-pole belt drive motor that cuts wow to an absolute minimum. And RCA Victor's no erase feature means you can't accidentally erase treasured recordings of your family or friends. To make sure you're recording at the best sound level, there's a lighted sound level indicator right here on top. And there on the left side are the handy jack receptacles for input or output. You see, in addition to the good sound you get with the speaker built right in the case, these output jacks mean that you can enjoy tape cartridge convenience with the high fidelity of your hi-fi or TV sound system. It's a wise investment for anyone who already has a high fidelity or stereo console. This ceramic microphone picks up really amazingly well, and a cartridge can be carried right in the case when you travel. Now, as to the actual workings...
What do I want to know about actual working?
Well, just look at this. In stop position, the tape capstan stops too. It doesn't continue to rub against the tape, wearing it out.
Don't all tape recorders and players do that?
Certainly not. And you'll enjoy unusually wide frequency response from this top-notch tape head that approaches professional quality.
That means it'll sound good when I play it through my console?
It sure will. And you can record voice at 1 7/8 inches per second or music at 3 3/4 inches per second. You get up to 4 hours of recording time at 1 7/8 inches per second on one RCA Victor cartridge.
I suppose that just about every angle of convenience and operation has been taken care of.
Yes, ma'am. That's where there's real weight behind the slogan RCA, the most trusted name in sound.
Well, let's see if they make one that gets my trust.
Fine. If you don't mind, I'll just play you the cartridge I used at home. It will show you what my family used this recorder for, and will give you some idea of the many uses it has. See, I just turn this knob and...
Happy birthday to you!
This was the birthday party we had for my daughter. She was 6 on Saturday, and my wife thought it would be nice if we had a record of her first birthday party since she started school.
Girl, I like dreams on.
And here's one of our neighborhood parties. The tenor you hear there, that's me. You should have seen their faces when they learned I had taped our singing. Nobody knew I was recording because I only had to turn 2 knobs. And that's what I call simple operation, when you can sneak a recording in the middle of a party. It's great fun to make recordings at a party. We play the tapes at the beginning of the next party, to get things going, you know.
The UN Security Council has recessed its...
The way news is happening these days, with some sort of major event almost every day, makes a guy who's interested in current events want some sort of record. I can build a complete rundown of first-hand information, a sort of inside look at history, with this little tape recorder.
You know, I could keep a record of the award ceremonies at our flower show.
Of course. And RCA Victor also makes pre-recorded tape cartridges of the standard, classical, and popular favorites. It's worth every cent as a player alone.
I've heard of those cartridges. They're wonderful.
Our neighbor's teenage son brought his drums in one evening last week and played along with some of our jazz albums. He talked his father into buying one of these tape recorders to check his practicing.
Vous désirez, monsieur? Vous ne parlez
And
pas.
my wife used the recorder for her French lessons. It's awfully hard to study a language or a musical instrument unless you can hear what you sound like. A tape recorder gives you a record of your performance and improvement. Well, now, fellas, you all know that I'm...
Oh, and here's some more voice recording.
Yes, I gave a little talk to my luncheon club downtown and found that listening to it before I gave it was a big help. If I had given it before I heard it on the tape, I think they might have laughed me off the speaker stand. You see, ma'am, this little tape recorder and player has more uses than you'd ever dream of until you get one of them home and start using it. It's compact and lightweight, with styling that makes it a little jewel in any room of your home. And it's just about the easiest thing to operate you've ever seen. There's no threading or rewinding of hard-to-handle tapes, and you'll use it so much, you'll wonder how your family ever got along without it.
I'll bet you're leading up to a pretty price for this.
Price? Well, that's the best part of it. They're exceptionally low-priced. There are 3 models, including one that records and plays in stereo. And they all have the quality that has established RCA Victor as the most trusted name in sound.
From your explanation, I'll bet it's just about the most convenient and smoothest operating tape recorder on the market. You know, this is just what I've been looking for.
Then you'll take it.
I sure will. You can just send it out to... But wait, it's so lightweight and compact, I'll just carry it with me.
And there you go, nothing like a little Leave It to Beaver music to go with it. And obviously this is the wrong tape deck or tape recorder for the tape. It should be an RCA player. This is for their portable players with a handle on it. And I could have done it on that, but I like the fidelity on this one better. Now they talked about being able to use reel-to-reel tape on these machines. And the fact is, you can. And this is the way it was going to be done. It was with a tape reel adapter. Now, I'm going to briefly show you how that would work. I got to get some 3-inch reels to do this, but let me pull this out of place here and show you that this would sit in its place like this, and then you would mount 2 3-inch reels, one with the material on it, the other the take-up reel, so that you could record or you could play back on it. And this was an option that you could buy way back when, more difficult to find today. And these are great machines. You don't often see these show up anymore. It's a concept that should have taken off. The cartridge player should have taken off because it's the same type tape and air that you would find in the reel-to-reel machines, except that it was already wrapped up into a cassette for you, so you didn't have to worry about threading it. The problem with this back in the late 50s was that when RCA introduced it, they just didn't introduce it with enough pre-recorded material. And that was the beginning of the downfall. There were a few manufacturers that picked up on the concept, Bell being one of them. And tapes were made by Acoustic Research. They were made by Bell. They were made by RCA. There were a few more as well. I just can't think off the top of my head. I have a pretty good collection of around 200 or so pre-recorded tapes now. And I'm showing this because of its versatility. It's a concept that should have caught on, like I said, and they're becoming more and more collectible today. More and more people are looking for these things, and there's fewer of them out there to be had. Unfortunately, many have hit the junkyards since they were introduced because of the lack of pre-recorded material. Although there are plenty of recordable tapes out there. They show up quite often on eBay. So there you have it, another piece of history here. At some point we'll go over a couple more tapes, but this one to me was a little bit on the unusual side because this is the first time I've actually gotten my hands on one that was correct through and through. You'll notice that that little bit of material that you heard on the player was actually played 4 or 5 times on one side and the same material on the back. So this is something that might have been run constantly in the shop so people could hear what it was all about. There it is, another fine piece of 50s history. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, there'll be more later on.